Hello gamers, before we get into the video, I'm trying to hit 10k by the end of the year if that's even possible. Social Blade says it is, so please subscribe. Basically, today I wanted to talk about 10 guns that I think that they should add to Phantom Forces. Comment if there's a gun that you really think should be added and it's not in the list, because I want to know what's your guys' guns that you think are kind of epic. Anyways, let's just jump in like the regular game and talk about this. Ooh, and I'm dead. Basically, the first gun that I wanted to talk about is a pistol that's not in the game. It's called the Luger. Basically, the Luger is, I think, a German pistol. I'll put an image up on screen. It's basically a pistol with like an 8-round capacity, and I think it loads from the top. It's a World War II gun, maybe World War I, but more World War II, I believe. They should totally add a Luger. There's not really much to say about this. It would probably 3-hit CQC and probably 5 or 6-hit in LRC. And it would shoot pretty fast but not have a very great capacity. It might be kind of like a 1911, but I think it should have pretty fast RPM, pretty good damage, have a quick reload and all that. And the next gun up, you see the M60. Hold on, let me pull this out. So there's actually a gun that came out after this called the M249 Saw. The M249 Saw is a 5.56 M60 essentially. And what the Saw has is smaller bullets by quite a bit, like 5.56 by 45, which is like M16A3 bullets. It has a very high rate of fire and 100 rounds, which is obviously quite a bit. And I think it would be cool to add to the game because you could make it have recoil that just continues to go up indefinitely. It would kind of be like a more interesting version of an MG3K. It wouldn't shoot quite as fast, I don't believe, but it would have quite a bit of recoil all over the place and 100 bullets, kind of like an HK21, but I want this one to have a lot of vertical recoil that continues to go up instead of going all over the place, because it would be interesting to have a high skill ceiling LMG that actually you need to learn the recoil pattern of. All the LMGs in this game are either no recoil or the recoil is like impossible to actually control. You just kind of like let it do its thing. And I feel like having a skilled LMG, also just having an M249 Saw, which is such a cool gun, would be sick. Like, M249s are something that are in a lot of games. So yeah, let me know. Do you want to see an M249 in this game? I definitely do, let's be honest. Oh, that was awkward. Next up is a DMR or a sniper, the M1 Garand. It has an 8-round capacity and has clips, not magazines, I believe. And it's the one with the really nice ping at the end when it reloads. This would be super sick because it would be more of a, almost kind of like a faster version of the SVU. It wouldn't do that much damage. Maybe it would be more of a DMR, but it could be really high damage CQC, maybe even a 1 hit to the head, but have some drop off, be all right in LRC. So like a CQC oriented more DMR or something like that. I mean, let's be honest, DMRs, ooh, they are kind of an underrated class. Not a lot of cool stuff happening to them lately. And I would like to see a M1 Garand just to add some nice guns. The M1 Garand is obviously like a really well-known gun and people would actually use it because it's well-known. I mean, it's one of the most well-known guns of all time. Kind of like a Luger for me, just a cool World War I or II gun. That would be really sick. Next up, kind of similarly, is the Mark 14 Enhanced Battle Rifle. This would probably be a DMR instead of a battle rifle, and it would be capable of semi and full auto. It should be kind of like a VSS. However, it could have like an extended mag and stuff. And the VSS, in my opinion, needs a complete rework. It shouldn't really do what it does. Since it has AS Val bullets, it shouldn't have as much recoil as it does, and it shouldn't do as much damage as it does. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would a gun that shoots the same bullets as an AS Val do like 30 more damage than an AS Val? You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think that a Mark 14 could kind of change that. It would basically become what the VSS is, a 10 bullet high recoil gun that does really high damage, kind of like a ECR, but more of a DMR. It could 2-hit to the torso in CQC and do a lot of headshot damage. It would be pretty cool. I think that they should add something like that to the game and change what the VSS does. I think the VSS should have a 20-round capacity and less recoil and a lot less damage, because then it would be a little bit more like an actual VSS is. Next up would be the DB Chauchat. I think that's how you say it. I think it's a French gun. Basically, the DB Chauchat is a very slow shooting, I guess, LMG. Shoots incredibly slow, and it should do like pretty high damage. I don't know how many bullets it carries, but it should probably have an insane reload, since like I've seen what the mag looks like. It looks like something that would take a while to reload. It would just be an interesting like LMG or assault rifle to add to the game. Just a very slow shooting thing, kind of like an M3A1 is right now. Next up would be kind of like what this is, the KSG-12. There's a gun called the DP-12. If you look at the picture that I will hopefully put on screen, you can see, oh, isn't that kind of just like a KSG-12? Yes and no. Can I kill this guy? No, I can't. My pellet spread, bro. There we go. Except this works a little bit differently. See how this one pumps every shot? Well, the DP12 would be able to fire 2 shots in semi-automatic and then pump after 2 shots. I think this would be cool because it would honestly be a really interesting shotgun since it would have such a weird firing mode. It's from John Wick as well, so you gotta have one because they have one in John Wick. That's pretty much the only reasoning you need. You go pew pew, chick chick, pew pew. You do like that. It's really interesting how you fire that. This guy's really gonna camp up here. It can't be a conversion for the KSG because it's a separate gun, and they're adding an MG42, so why can't they add a DP12, which is made by a completely different company and functions very differently. Next up, kind of like the Remington 700, would be the M24. If you look at the Remington 700 irons, it looks kind of like an M24's irons. The M24 is basically the sniper rifle that basically everybody in the US Army uses, and I really want to add it just for like the shot sound and everything. I think it would be interesting because they could make it kind of like a Remington 700, maybe a Remington 700 plus an intervention. It would have a 5-round capacity instead of a 6 or the 8 of the intervention. And I just think overall it would be pretty fun to have one in the game. Oh my gosh, what is this guy doing out there? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the Remington 700. The sound doesn't really sound that good to me. Next up, there's really no gun similar to it in the shotguns category, the Mag 7. But the Mag 7 is basically this. It's a really interesting pump action shotgun that would just be interesting to have in the game, in my opinion. It would just be cool to have it. I believe it has a 7-round capacity, doesn't really do that much damage, and it would shoot kind of slow, but maybe they could make it like 3 pellet kill, but shoot really slow or something like that, and not have the best spread, so it could actually have a place in the game. Because 3 pellet kill guns, they don't really exist that much, except the Stevens and the KS-23M. But yeah, it would be cool to just have a Mag 7 in the game, just for kicks. Like, why not? I just think that having a shotgun like that in the game would be really interesting, and it would just be a nice addition to the game. If they ever added equipment, the RPG-7 as an equipment, maybe just with 1 shot, but instead of like regular grenades, it would actually like explode on impact, and you could only get 1 shot per life, I guess. I don't know. It would be kind of interesting. This is kind of a joke. I don't think that having an RPG would be that interesting unless they had full equipment, and people would probably hate on it a lot, so Stylus probably shouldn't add it, because I remember when they almost added an M79, which, well, they did, but when people were like, wait, what if it shoots grenades? They were kind of scared. The final thing I wanted to talk about is a gun called the P2000. The P2000 could be just a new pistol, and I think that they need to add more like very reliable pistols to this game. And I think if they added something that was just a little bit slower in terms of RPM possibly, but maybe just did a little bit more damage or just felt a little bit more powerful, because that's my main problem with the pistols. They don't really feel that powerful, you know? Pretty meh. When you shoot them, they don't really feel that cool. But yeah, let me know what other guns you want to see. Oh, another gun that I might want to see added is the XM1014. They actually had that gun in the game early on. Same with the M249. They actually had that in the game early on. Just like they didn't really have a model for it or anything. Dude, P90 kind of goes. Anyways, let me know what guns you want to see in this game, because I know they're working on core and UI and stuff, but I do want to see some more guns. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.